Just a little cold, little bit of a time. Hey, we are thankful this holiday weekend to have our relationship guru, Jonathan Sprinkles, back with us. He is the world-renowned connection coach, Jonathan Sprinkles, mind you. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Let's get right to our first question. Toby just got married, and he wants it to last, Jonathan. Check it out.
How do you keep going the long haul? What do you got to do to, put in the work, and what else? What advice?
Give him advice, Jonathan.
Well, look, I'm smart enough to know that I don't have all the answers. If you want to get some of the answers, you talk to people who've been married forever. People like Sherry. She's been married since the mid-1800s.
That's true.
What I do know for sure is that the key to longevity in your marriage, in your business, in health, in anything, the key is consistency. And here's what I mean. There's a guy named KHOU Sanderson who went an astounding 159-0 in his collegiate wrestling career, the first man in the history of the planet to do so. Well, when he was asked what made you so successful, they said, well, did you think that you could go undefeated? He said, no, I never thought I could go undefeated, but I always thought I could win my next match. And that was the difference. See, those who are going to go the distance, you have to learn how to celebrate the small victories. There was a couple one time that would every night look at each other before bed and say, this is why I love you today.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to beat my husband over the head and make him do that. All right. His new wife, Stacy, also had a question. Hers is a little more specific than her husband's.
Okay.
What advice would you give for the first year of marriage?
The do's and the don'ts.
The do's and the don'ts of the first year of marriage.
Okay, so she's like a little more narrow. Do's and don'ts for the first year.
Well, the first year in anything is where you build the foundation. So you need to decide on what your relationship is going to be founded upon. And if there was one thing that I would say that's most important, it is listening. Because there is a scenario called the slow erosion of trust. And it happens when people feel like their spouse, their boss, or their government isn't listening to them. And over time, it starts to develop a lot of bad habits, and you create a scenario in which you have problems. So let me show you, Houston, you and I are going to model 3 questions that you can ask your spouse, your boss, your whoever in your life. Question number 1, Sherry, how am I doing as your co-host this morning?
Awesome as usual.
Well, thank you, Sherry. Why do you say that?
Because you're awesome as usual.
Well, Sherry, what can I do to leave you thrilled this morning?
Leave money? I don't know. No, you're good.
When you learn how to listen, you learn to listen to what is most important to them, and then that will tell you everything you know on how to go the distance.
That is great advice. Let's see if we can get one more question in. It comes from a Facebook viewer. Tanisha asked, why would my boyfriend maintain a friendship with a female after I made it clear I had an issue with that? We were together 5 years. He's had this friend 4 years. He called her secretly. Last year we got engaged, but now it's over due to mistrust.
Well,
Tanisha.
Tanisha, there's so much we don't know. We don't know his side of the story. We don't even know his name, but just for the sake of conversation, let's just call him Seth. All right, I don't know why you and Seth didn't make it, but I can tell you this, be grateful. Be grateful that you and Seth didn't make it, because you didn't make a lifelong commitment to something that you realized that you couldn't trust. Either he wasn't ready for that commitment, or you might have made it so painful for him to tell you the truth that he felt like it was better.
But on its face, because this is sometimes debated, you don't think it's just necessarily a bad thing for a guy to have a girlfriend, a girl to have a guy friend if they're in a relationship with someone else?
No, you can do that, but you just have to make sure that there are guidelines and parameters. That's it. And that most importantly, that we talked about earlier, that there's trust, that we talk about what this relationship is about, and that everybody knows what's going on.
As usual, awesome. Thank you, Jonathan Sprinkles. It is 8:20, and thank you, viewers, for your questions. Where are